I'm Wendy Kay of the Empaths, Ascension, and Psychic Stuff community, and I'm so glad you've chosen or have been guided to listen to one of our community shows. By continuing to listen, you agree to the terms found at wendyswisdom.ca/terms. In a recent show, I talked about the fact that some people are going to be going through some testing. This week, I thought I'd give you clarification of what that means. Now, I did give a couple of my own personal examples during that recent show. One of those examples occurred during an out-of-body experience that I had, or a lucid dream, however you want to see it. And the other one had to do with a dream. If you want to listen to that show, then you can go to oralin.com. That's ORALIN.com, which is my main website. And on the home page, if you scroll down just a bit, you'll see the player that has all of the available shows that you can listen to. Give a listen to the show called Energy Testing for Ascension is Taking Place. Now, the first thing I want to do is to clarify that the testing that's taking place has to do with energy connections. Connections from you to spirit, which includes connections to the Golden Kingdom Earth or the planet of Ascension. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about when I'm referring to the Golden Kingdom Earth, I suggest you go to the oralin.com homepage, scroll down a bit to the player once again, and look for the podcast called What is the Light Earth? That actually was what it was called prior to me finding out that those in spirit refer to it as the Golden Kingdom Earth. So to get further clarification of this testing, I tuned in and I asked for a divine being of light to come through, one that could give me more information on the type of testing that is going on. I made sure, of course, that this entity was positive in nature and was assigned to me. One of the first things that I wanted to clarify was whether or not everybody would be going through this testing. And I was told that no, not everybody would be going through this testing. It was going to be unique to each person. There are going to be those who don't need to be tested because they don't have any abilities that are going to be affected by all the changes that have gone on. Those who will go through the testing are those who have new abilities or those who have old abilities or abilities that they had in the past but that have been upgraded or changed in some way. Now, those in spirit are making sure that the connections function as they should. So if there is a change in ability that has to do, for example, with seeing in spirit, the test is going to make sure that the person sees in spirit as they are meant to see. They're making sure that the spiritual body and the physical body work together as they should in this new energy with these new connections. They want to make sure as well that the energy is in balance and as it should be. So basically, if there is any ability that you have that needs to be tested, that's what they're looking for. They want to make sure that it does what it's supposed to do. They want to make sure that your body, your physical body, functions as it should, and your spiritual body functions as it should when you are using these abilities. So the other thing I want to clarify is that the testing that's happening is for anybody who is connected to the Golden Kingdom Earth, but also to those who aren't being connected to the Golden Kingdom Earth. If you have abilities that are new to you or that have been upgraded, even if you're not connected to the Golden Kingdom Earth, those energy connections are still being tested. So you don't have to be connected to the Golden Kingdom Earth to have testing going on. And remember, you do have to be at a certain level of knowledge and vibration in order to actually be connected to the Golden Kingdom Earth. The same type of testing is going to happen whether you are connected to the Golden Kingdom Earth or not. If you are connected to the Golden Kingdom Earth, there is a different type of connection that you are going to have, because the Golden Kingdom Earth is a different energy actually than the energy that is universal. It is a pure energy or a purer energy. It is stronger in the sense that it's going to give people who are accessing it better results, and it's not tainted by any negativity. So you can think of the Golden Kingdom Earth maybe as being a protected environment where negative energy doesn't exist. Whereas in the normal energy, negativity can exist. There are beings who are living at lower dimensions that may not have a very high vibration and may be negative in nature in some way. However, those on the Golden Kingdom Earth, there's no negativity there. The energy of the Golden Kingdom Earth is a higher vibration energy accessed by those who have earned the right to use it. So you have gone through the ascension process and are now able to access that energy to some degree. The divine being of light wanted us to understand that all energy is not created equal. There are multiple levels of energy, and each level of energy has its own qualities and characteristics. There are certain things that you can do in one level of energy that you can't do in another level of energy. So that's why one person may find that they can do something that someone else can't do. They're probably at a different energy level that allows them to do that. Perhaps that person isn't quite at the same level as them, or it could be that that other person's life contract doesn't allow for them to access it, and they could be at the same level or even above, but their life contract doesn't allow for it. It could be that their state of energy is weak, and that prevents them from using their energy to their full potential. So the testing that's happening right now has to do with the abilities that a person may have. The tests may be subtle, so that a person may not even notice that it's taking place, or the test can be really evident and the person may have some truly unique experiences. The other thing you need to know is that the type of testing that you're going to have taking place depends on the ability that's being tested. So the testing could have to do with seeing in spirit, hearing in spirit, feeling the energy of others, sending healing energy to others, being able to go out of body, being able to astral travel, being able to use telepathy. It could have to do with your intuition. It could have to do with telekinesis. It could have to do with your empathic ability. So any psychic ability may need to be tested. In terms of what these tests are, I was told that dreams are the primary testing ground for many people. And the type of tests that are going to go on in these dreams are the meeting of guides. So they're going to test to make sure that you can meet a guide, hear a guide, talk to a guide, or interact with the guide in the way that is necessary for you. They also said that it is possible that you could be tested to have interactions with loved ones who have passed on, or other beings who are not guides or not spirit teachers, but those who are just in the spirit realm who are coming through in the dream state. This does include negative entities, so keep that in mind. You could actually encounter a negative entity within the dream state that you would have to deal with, and that actually could be a test where there is a negative entity that is allowed to come through in your dream in order to do tests to see, I guess, maybe how you handle it or how you recognize it or just what the negative entity does in that state. They want to make sure that, again, your body reacts in spirit and in physical the way it should to that encounter. You can also have tests that have to do with going out of body. This does include lucid dreaming, which is a form of an out of body. So you might have those types of tests like the one that I had where I very easily went out of body and was actually told it was a test. So they're making sure, once again, that your body works as it should in spirit and in physical. There's also going to be tests that take place that have to do with your personal connection to the light earth as well. So they are going to be making sure that that connection is functioning properly, and apparently they may open up the connection for a very brief moment so that they can do the test. They're also going to be doing some testing for things like seeing things in the spirit realm before going to sleep or during meditation. It's very possible that those of you who are going through a lot of intense changes may be finding that you're having a lot of difficulty meditating or communicating with spirit. If that is true, then you may find that you get the odd meditation that actually seems to work really well because it's more of a test. They're also going to be doing some testing for hearing in spirit in various ways, and that will depend on your vibration. So the hearing in spirit could have to do with hearing spirit in your dream state. It could have to do with hearing spirit in real life or hearing spirit during meditation. Typically, these types of tests will stand out to you as being a little different from what you are used to. There is also some testing that has to do with your ability to feel energy in various ways. You may notice an increased sensitivity to energy or the ability to do more with energy. I actually have noticed that when I am doing healing work or sending energy through my hands, it is much more intense and I can feel it much more so than what I did before. So whatever changes I've gone through, I'm definitely noticing a difference in that. You may find that there's some testing that is going on if you are a healer and you are doing healing for others. So you might find in that case that you're feeling the energy, you're noticing a change in the energy, and there may be some testing that goes on when you are working on somebody. All of these things have to do with ensuring that the body, the physical body, works correctly, the spiritual body works correctly, and that you are experiencing what it is that you're supposed to experience. So the other thing I wanted to clarify is, what about testing that has to do with things like life lessons? When you have learned something in your last incarnation before the rebirth, and it comes up again in your life and you handle it differently, or you know you're being tested in some way because it feels like a test, is that something that is currently being tested? And I was told that no, that is not part of the testing that is happening. The testing that they were referring to in the show simply had to do with energy connections and abilities of various types. That type of testing could be a test, but it would be more of a personal test, something that is for your life path that you are being tested on to make sure that you know something. It's not the same type of testing that the show was talking about. It could be a type of testing for you personally. It's also possible that if you are feeling that or notice that happening in your life, it's not actually a test at all. It could be that in the old energy, it was a lesson that you learned, and in the rebirth, the lesson has already been learned and there is no testing happening, but to you, because it is still very foreign or you're getting used to it, it may feel like a test. So whether it actually is a test for you or whether you are just adjusting to your new life path and it's just normal for you, well, that's kind of something between you and your guides. You would have to discuss with them if you were so inclined or wanted to know whether or not there was actual testing going on. But it's not considered part of what the testing of the energy connections is all about. You're also going to find that if there is some testing going on, it is very short duration. If you have an out-of-body experience, you may have it happen just once and then you don't have that same experience. If you're being tested in your dream, you may have the test happen once or maybe a very small part of your dream and that's it. So these are not long tests. They're not meant to be long tests, actually. They're just meant to be tests that ensure everything's working as they should. And then they're just checking it off on their list that you have been verified, it's all working correctly, and life moves on, I guess. Now, the positive thing is that the testing that's going on is also something that means we are much closer to completion. Even after completion, there will be some more testing, but it's probably not going to be noticed as much by you because it's going to be more of a this is how life is now, as opposed to being something that's a test that's really noticeable. So keep that in mind as you go forward. So I hope that gives people a little bit more understanding about what the testing is going to involve. So it is not extensive in terms of it's going to go on for days, weeks, years type of thing. It is a very short-term thing that is meant to make sure that your spiritual and your physical body works as it should with the new connections in the Ascension energy, whether it is to the regular spirit world or whether it is to the Ascension planet, the Golden Kingdom Earth. If you are enjoying the show, please make sure to follow and to share it with others so they can gain some information as well. If you want to support the work that I'm doing, you can do so by joining my Empaths, Ascension, and Psychic Stuff community. And you can find that at patreon.com/Wendy Kay. patreon.com/WendyKay. It'll give you a chance to interact with those of a like mind, and there will also be some bonus content and hopefully some interesting discussions happening. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Wendy Kay, and remember to live and breathe in divine love energy.